Season 0 has ended, Season 1 is just getting started, and we're going to talk about the Flak changes and the changes to weapons and how that changes the power dynamic here at Robocraft. Welcome back, Gamers of all variety. A special shout out to the Taters who I got a chance to play with recently, and then also, of course, Gallant Guru and Atlas Core. Hello to you guys. Today we're going to be talking about the changes in the game with the weapons, mainly the optimal number that you'll need to have on your vehicle for the nominal rate on all these smaller weapons, and then the Flak and how that's changed the game somewhat too. I'll be showing you 3 new builds, and also I have a contest too for a spooky bundle giveaway here, so I wanted to let you guys know that. For that, I'll give you some more details later and what you'll need to do below to get into that contest. First of all, this is my new mech. It's called the Nacuro. It's kind of like the Skyscraper, but it has an extra blink module in it instead of just having the power module. So a little less in the way of blocks, it's a little more centered, and the flaks on the side help protect the legs a little better. So it uses 3 of the connection points to hold it to the vehicle on these Flak Guardians, but one of them down below is really just a guard for your legs when you're walking. So these flaks are pretty beefy, and they soak up lots of damage. And I have been enjoying trying this. It's a lot less movement intensive as far as the CPU invested, but a lot more weapons. In fact, I think with the 600 in the flaks and the extra 120, that's like, what, 720 CPU and just weapon output. So it's a good counter against different flying things, of course, with the dual flaks. I really feel like it was a big improvement when they brought these into the game from what it used to be. As a protonivity here, you see taking crystals seems to be pretty good still per shot, so seems like you have a lot more viable weapon when you're trying to take down towers with dual flak. Especially in the higher OC, I've noticed it's really effective at taking towers. And doesn't make a bad backup weapon too if you need to finish off somebody on the ground even. And then of course in the air, the new mechanics of the ever-increasing damage as you stack and stack more shots on somebody makes it a really powerful weapon. And usually getting to 10 shots in a row, which gives you the equivalent of 3.5 times more powerful flak than before, is pretty quick to do or pretty easy to do if someone's up in the air and they're not really watching their cover very well. So I have been enjoying it. I think it is going to kind of change the power dynamics of the game a little bit. It'll be less in the way of vehicles like drones and stuff that use so much of their CPU and put into movement, and less in CPU in weapons. I think you have to have more of a balance now. Or you can have a drone, but you need to probably keep it to 1 or 2 different weapon types. Or like my Omega Mech, for example. It has a lot of modules, has 3 modules and a lot of thrusters on it, so I need to scale back on using so many modules or specialize more in my weapon type. So I'll use more of one type, like a SMG, instead of having SMGs, plasmas, and healers on it. So that's one thing I'm looking at doing, and actually I've made some changes to some of the mechs that I've been playing with recently, and you'll see an example of that here after I get done showing you the Nacuro mech. This is up on the shop, and actually I posted it last week. Wasn't feel really good last week. I was kind of under the weather, had the flu, so I didn't do an extra video as I normally do. But I posted this up under the Gramblur account, which is my 4th alt and also newly level 152. And it's been selling really well. So you'll put this up on the shop, but definitely look for it under Gramblur in the description below too. There'll be a link, or not a link, the information basically where you can find it on the market if you want to check it out for yourself. So the other side of the coin too is the change to the nominal weapon count, or the maximum fire rate, depending on how many guns you have on all vehicles. That's changed for both nanos, for plasma, and for the lasers. So you got to have, at the highest level, at least 4 of the disintegrators or 4 of the devastators to keep that fire rate where it used to be. And I think that's kind of probably a bigger nerf to the people who put more of their CPU into movement, which happens to be mostly flying things like drones, like this guy that I'm shooting right now, and highly adaptable ground units like some of the movement mechs, sprinter mechs I made. But more so, I think, to drones, because you got the ability to put all the super micro little thrusters and stuff like that doesn't give you a lot of room to add in a whole slew of weapons. So, but anyway, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I think it will be a little more balancing, and I think they're really struggling to find a way to make tracked vehicles and wheeled vehicles a little bit more even. So this is one way they're trying to balance that out. I don't necessarily think that that's the right strategy. I feel like maybe wheels and tracks need a little bit of an extra buff on their own. So if you're using a wheel or using a track, maybe you get some special perk that people that are using hybrid movement types or more than one movement type don't get. So that's just an idea of one way they might solve that issue. But it is kind of a step in the right direction, or at least making it a little bit more even, in my opinion. It does mean that you have to play strategy a little more, so if you lose a couple guns, like here on the Nacuro, I have 4 of the Plasma Devastators as my secondary weapon, as it complements the Flak really nicely. If you knock them out of the sky, you can finish them off on the ground with the Plasma, or if they're sliding on the ground to try to avoid the Flak, you can take them out with the Plasma instead. So I like that combination, but what I was saying is losing one of them makes you, shoot so much slower that it's a good idea to start backing off, or at least having somewhere to take cover while you recover your weapon, or have a healer with you. So it does make healers more important, I think, in this patch. Having that guy in your team that's going to give you back your extra weapons and get you back at the nominal weapon count quicker is going to be more important, so I think it's a good thing for healers. So all in all, it makes it interesting. I like to see kind of a little bit more of how this goes. Some people have said, well, is it going to make the bigger weapons more popular or more powerful? There could be an argument to be made that having like 2 of the Mega SMGs or 2 of the Mega Plasmas might be more advantageous now, or putting the 600 CPU or 500 CPU into it, depending on what you choose. For dual versions of that is maybe a little bit better investment, but I'd still recommend going with the smaller weapons, even though you have that nominal count issue to deal with now. So anyway, I did pretty good on all these games with this new Nacuro mech. You can see here I got an 18.3, there's a 15.1 here with lots of assists. So it is a great vehicle, and I think a lot of people weren't really prepared for it. I went back to the drawing board too, and I changed up the Orion Assault Mech and called it the Orion Combat Mech 1750. So this is full CPU now. You'll see I didn't put the extra module in the top like I did on the Omega. So this one just uses the blink and power module, but then I'm able to get more than nominal count of plasma and SMGs and have 3 of the nano constructors, which I think is about perfect on the constructors. I don't really want to be at the full nominal count on constructors, as I feel like they sap your energy way too quickly. So this is kind of my new performance mech, I guess, that I like best out of all my other ones. I don't really use the invisibility as much as I really should to make it worth that extra investment of like 300 CPU. But having a radar jammer on the back seems to do a good job, so that's just 30 instead of 300. So anyway, that's the new version of the Orion mech. Orion Combat Mech is up on the Cyborbot account if you want to get that for yourself, and I'll put the information down below. And this is my 3rd new robot. This is the Boss Cloudsprinter. This is using dual Mega SMG, or Mega Lasers as they're called now, I guess, and then 3 rotors, as that's the minimum number you'll need to get one of these Sprinter mechs to fly around. And of course they're the highest grade variety. So it's using a full 1750. It does have the power module. It does have the blink module on board. And it's just something I kind of wanted to see, is this possible? That's kind of the reason I built it. And is it fun and is it viable? And I think it is. It is just kind of another option to go with now. And again, I think having a larger weapon like this Mega Carbon Laser is maybe a little bit more viable than before, just because losing one of them, you still have a reasonable fire rate, where losing 1 or 2 of the other style of weapons really cripples it a lot more. But like I said, I think it makes healing a lot more important, so I wouldn't not be surprised to see a whole lot more healing builds, or people using one weapon type and maybe the nominal count of healers, or constructors, a couple constructors on board, as it would be a really good idea to do on a team. And I think it will give up more variety in the games too that we'll see in the future. So you will see probably some drones, but then we'll always see probably a couple different mechs that are specialized in anti-air, and probably some kind of healer, maybe a hybrid walker, flyer style healer would be really important for a performance team or for playing competitive. I still really like using blink in all my mechs, and then I'm a big power module fan too, so that's not really changing anytime soon. Anyway, let's talk a little bit about the contest now. I wanted to tell you guys that I have one of those spooky bundle packs with the, it's like 25 crates and some of the new parts and stuff in there too to give away to you guys. Go ahead and leave a comment down below. In your comment, just make it related to what you think about the new Flak and the new weapon mechanics. Do you like it? Do you hate it? What do you think it's going to do to the game? So kind of try to make it topical, and what I'll do is I'll use a random number generator and decide randomly, probably at the end of the week, out of all you guys who will win that bundle. I'll let you know basically as I have before, most likely through Steam Messenger. So make sure you let me know what your name is on Steam down below. Anyway, guys, if you've enjoyed this episode and found it helpful or found it interesting, please give me a thumbs up. I'd appreciate that very much. And as I said earlier, leave a comment down below. It'll get you entered into that contest too for the Spooky Bundle giveaway. And if you like these robots, you like the boss Cloudsprinter, and you want to try it out for yourself, this is going to be on the Wraulin account, so on my Atlas Core account. So you can look up the player name Wraulin. I'll also put that down in the description below if you wanted to try this out for yourself. And this will probably give you some good ideas too for when you're going into your next builds. I would say don't overdo it on the modules now. Probably go to 2 at the max if you're going to be building a small vehicle. If you're building a drone, I would probably specialize in 1 or 2 weapon types maximum. SMGs are probably going to be favored, and plasma, I would think, in a drone's case, unless you want to be a support. But try to not put as many thrusters in if possible. Maybe make a real small drone with less weapons, so you don't put as much into the thruster CPU if possible, and still stay up in the air. And so anyway, we'll see how this does to the mechanics. I do expect to see less of the drones and Tesseract style vehicles, and a little bit more in the way of vehicles that use more weapon diversity but less in the way of movement type CPU. So probably good for just the simple Sprinter mechs overall. I am interested to see what the new weapon's going to be like. I know they've been talking about this new mortar style weapon. Haven't seen much in the way of news on that. But that will be interesting, and then I'd like to see what they're going to do too with the rework of wheels and tank tracks, which I know is in development right now. So I'll get out of the Dodge here real quick. So I did like this little vehicle, the little boss Cloudsprinter. It does have that escape mechanic, and you can still fly around with 3 of your rotors or walk around if you lose those. So it does keep you from getting murdered and allow you to get covered. All right, let's see what we get in the chest here. We got one rotor, got some long struts. Those will come in useful. Tesla, might use that maybe. Anyway, guys, that is going to do it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching, and come back and check out another video here on Gamer Guide. Later.